Hello friends, R.P. Srivastav here with a new topic in economics. The topic is modern theory of rent. As we know that each factor is to be paid in lieu of its use, and land is one of the important factor of production, and what we pay for use of land is called rent. Various theories are there for determination of rent, but the well known concept of Ricardian theory of rent, as we know from early days of schooling, there are various contributions after Ricardo, but in essence, the Ricardian theory of rent is always there. So now we have to discuss what is modern theory of rent. Now let us discuss the introduction part of modern theory of rent. Even though many economists feel that there is no necessity of a separate theory of rent, contributions are continuously being made to the rent theory. Alfred Marshall's major contribution in the context of Ricardian model was to jettison the special position of the rent of land regarded as the demand or price determined income of a factor of production in fixed supply, and to call attention to the fact that each of the specific factors used in the production process may be in fixed supply temporarily for a shorter or longer period, so that their incomes constitute a quasi rent, and consequently the rent of land proper is merely the leading species of a large genus. Veblen and others in the post-Newtonian physics of phase of economic analysis, land rent is only a extreme case of generally observable phenomena. These are the specific lines illustrated by Marshall and Harry J. Johnson in context of discussing rent in his book The Theory of Income Distribution. But here, what is the difference in between Ricardian theory of rent and modern theory of rent? Here, a rent according to modern sense can arise in respect of any factor of production, while Ricardo thinks that rent is only payment for land use, but that is not the case in context of discussing modern theory of rent. So rent is a surplus payment in excess of transfer earnings of that factor. So let us discuss what is transfer earning. Transfer earnings can also be defined as the minimum earnings which a unit of factor of production must be paid in order to induce it to stay in the present use, industry or occupation. So in discussion of modern theory of rent, three things are there: present income, present earning, transfer earning, and surplus in between the two. And on that basis, we find the value of rent. Now, discuss concept of economic rent. Economic rent of a factor of production is the excess over its transfer earnings, that is, what a factor may be earning in its present employment over what it could earn in its next best employment. In other words, transfer earning of a factor mean what a unit of factor can earn in its next best alternative use, occupation or industry. We can also define transfer earning as the minimum earning which a unit of factor of production must be paid in order to induce it to stay in its present use or industry or occupation. If a factor is getting less than this minimum, it will give up its present employment and shift to its next best alternative employment. But if a factor in its present employment is earning more than the minimum necessary to keep it in that employment, the excess is called economic rent. This concept of rent is applicable not merely to land but to all factors of production. That is, labor, capital, and entrepreneurs too can earn economic rent in that sense. So, economic rent is the difference between the present earning and transfer earning. In words of J. Robinson, the essence of the conception of the rent is the conception of a surplus earned by a particular part of a factor of production over and above the minimum earnings necessary to induce it to do its work. How economic rent arises? Economic rent, in the sense of surplus over transfer earnings, will arise when the supply of the factor units is less than perfectly elastic or not perfectly elastic. From the point of view of elasticity of supply, there are three possibilities. First, when the supply is perfectly elastic. Second, when it is less than perfectly elastic. And third, when it is inelastic. So, in first case, it is clear that if the supply of factors unit is perfectly elastic for a particular use or industry, then no factor unit can earn surplus or economic rent. In case of second situation, when it is less than perfectly elastic, then there will be earnings of economic rent, or economic rent or surplus will be different for different units because the transfer earnings are different although the price is the same. And lastly, in case of third situation, when it is elastic, then it is clear that in case of supply of a factor is absolutely inelastic, its earnings are rent. This slide, I will discuss analysis of land use and rent. As we know that we can analyze land use and rent from 3 points of view. Firstly, from the social point of view. According to social point of view, the supply of land is a free gift. Its supply is inelastic in short as well as in the long run, and it has no alternative use. Thus, its transfer cost is zero, and therefore the whole earning of land is rent. As it is a free gift to society, a rent does not enter into its price. But the point is that for any factor which is completely fixed in supply, the price it commands will be determined by the demand for its services, and neither its alternative opportunity cost in other uses nor its cost of original production will play any part in determining its price. Secondly, from the point of view of a particular use or industry, alternative uses are possible. Here, therefore, rent is the difference between actual earning and transfer earning. If a piece of land is specific to an industry or use, it has no alternative use, and therefore the whole of earning is rent, there being no transfer cost. Here, the transfer cost is price determining, while excess over it is price determined. Suppose if a plot of land can earn rupees 5,000 in the production of wheat, and it could earn in the production of barley, its alternative use is rupees 3,000. Then rent proper amount to rupees 2,000 for the plot in wheat production. The amount of rent will change with the changes in price of wheat and barley. And if a piece of land is specific to an industry or use, it has no alternative use. If specificity and gradation are completely absent, there will be no surplus earning or rent in any particular use. Lastly, From the point of view of an individual, the problem is different. To an individual, the whole of the rent of his land paid to the landlord is an item of cost which determines price. From the point of view of society, Henry George in 1905 advocated a lump sum tax equal to economic rent on all landowners. Such a tax would neither adversely affect the output on the land nor increase the price of the product. But later on, socialists, on the other hand, advocates nationalization or socialization of land. In context of discussing modern theory of rent, till now I have tried to specify the Ricardian theory of rent and modern theory of rent, about the conceptual difference in between the two, and I have differentiated these two in very clear cut way. Now in this last slide I will discuss land valuation. As the value of piece of land is generally defined by the formula V in rupees is equal to R in rupees divided by I, where V is the value of land in rupee, R is the constant amount of rent earned on land in perpetuity, and I is an appropriate rate of interest at which the future rents are discounted. Suppose if a tax is levied on rent by government, say at the rate of 25% of the rent, the value of land will be reduced to 3/4 of its pre-tax value, and this is also known as tax capitalization. Conclusively, we can say that the price of land or any other natural resource is determined by the demand for the services of land and its total supply. So, having all this discussion, a specificity about the land as a factor of production, that is fixed, but lastly we come to the conclusion that demand and supply has to play its distinct role in deciding or determining the value of rent. So, that is all about modern theory of rent, where the modern theory of rent differs from the Ricardian theory of rent. For now, it's all about modern theory of rent. Thank you.